Hi Year 5! So we thought we would do some videos on YouTube to help you with your learning at home. So here goes. We are going to be looking today at equivalent fractions. So this is week 2, day 1. It should be the first lesson for maths of your new home learning. So our reason for doing this is because we want you to be working more independently. We want your parents to be able to do what they need to be doing, for example, if they're working from home. So we thought we would try and give you a mini lesson almost on some of the things we think you might need some more help with. So our learning objective for today is to find equivalent fractions. First of all, our learning objective says to find equivalent fractions. So we're looking at this word here, which is equivalent. I want you to try and think about what you know about this word already. So, equivalent basically means equal. So there are two fractions or two things that are equal to one another. So if I had a half and I compared that with 2/4, I would know those two fractions are equivalent. As we said a minute ago, two fractions that we know off the top of our heads are equivalent is a half and 2/4. Now we know that without having to draw out a fraction, for example a pie or a pizza or something, we can look at the numbers instead. So I know if I times this by 2 and this by 2, it will give me this. Okay, now so that means that half is equivalent to 2/4. Okay, now if I wanted to find another equivalent fraction that was equivalent to 2/4, I could times this by 2 and I'd end up with 4/8. So there are now 3 equivalent fractions. So some of you may remember us doing this earlier on in the year. So it's a bit of a recap really. And if you think about larger fractions, this is the reason why we're recapping this in year 5. We're obviously not going to be looking at half and quarters and 2/4, etc. in this lesson. We're looking at larger equivalent fractions. So to do this, I want to try and simplify my fraction down. So I need to think about which number I know, the largest number that I know that goes into both of these numbers without leaving a remainder. So I know that using my magic maths, I know that I can divide both of these numbers by 5. And that's the highest number I can divide both of these numbers, both the numerator and the denominator by, in order to not have a remainder. So I know that 20 divided by 5, again using magic maths, I know this, these are my 5 times tables, gives me 4. And I know that 25 divided by 5 gives me 5. Therefore, that tells me now that 20 over 25 is equivalent to 4/5. Now if I look at 18 over 27, again, using my magic maths, I'm thinking about which numbers I know go into both of these numbers without leaving a remainder. Now, could I have 9 in here and 9 into here? Let's see. I divide this by 9 and I divide this by 9. I end up with 2/3. I could have easily gone a bit bigger and made a bit of a mistake here, because I could have thought to myself, divide it by 3. Oh, 3 goes into both those numbers, but I have to remember that it has to be the largest number that I can possibly think of to fit into both of these numbers in order to put it into its simplest form and to simplify it. Now that I've learned how to simplify my fractions, I need to learn how to expand them. So I'm looking for more equivalent fractions. Now, equivalent fractions don't have to always be in the simplest form. For example, here I'm going to expand it. Now I'm going to try and think of if fractions are equivalent to a third. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to think of a number and I'm going to times that number both by the numerator and by the denominator. So for example, I'm going to choose 3. It's nice and easy. So now I've got 1 times 3 gives me 3, and I've got 3 times 3, which gives me 9. Therefore, 1/3 is equivalent to 3/9. I can do that again. So I end up with 9 over 27. And we can check that these are all still equivalent because I can think about this fraction. Can I turn this fraction back into this fraction? Now I know that 27 divided by 9 gives me 3, and I know that 9 divided by 9 gives me 1. Therefore, 1/3 is equivalent to 9/27, which is equivalent to 3/9, equivalent to 1/3. Let's try this one. I want to expand 1/10. So I'm going to times 1/10 by 4. Just pick a random number. So 1 times 4 gives me 4. 10 times 4 gives me 40. I'm going to go again. Let's go 4 again. 4 times 4 gives me 16. 4 times 40 gives me 160. Now I use magic maths here because I covered my 0 up. 4 times 4 is 16. Put my 0 back on the end is 160. I hope you found that helpful. Send us any emails with any questions and we'll be happy to help you. Good luck and try and do it independently. I think you all can have a go at the task. Bye.